Hi, good morning, everyone. This is Boon Wei, and this is Zach, my manager, my mentor. This morning, just before going to Orie, we decided to have breakfast first and just have a casual chat. Hopefully, we can bring some value to you, whoever's watching this video. So, shall we get started?
Yep. Yes.
Okay, so first question. People are always looking at investment around Singapore, especially in real estate, apart from many other asset classes. Yeah. Why do you think real estate is one of those things that they should go for and they should make it a priority?
Yeah, I think there's many reasons why properties in Singapore can be considered one of the priority in terms of investment, right? So not only we want to advocate buying of property, I think diversification is also very important. We usually look at our customers' portfolio, not only from the real estate perspective, but they must also have some probably other investment like stocks, buying of gold, or even consider like speculating some Bitcoin if possible. Why? Because you don't want to put all the eggs into one basket, right? Why Singapore is favorable? Because over the past 10, 20, 30 years, prices has always been going up, right? And talking about real estate investment, this is one vehicle that you can actually leverage on in terms of the bank loan, right? You can borrow other people's money while financing this property, this kind of asset class. So it's good to not only have property but also have other investments.
Okay, so next question. We know that upgraders, especially from HDB, they're always looking at something else or something that they can progress in. Why not another HDB, but why another platform?
I think there's nothing wrong buying another HDB. You can always upgrade or change from one HDB to another HDB. But the concern is that today there's a lot of buyers out there who not only want a roof over their head, they want to also be profitable in the properties that they buy into. Right? I mean, of course, you see over the years now that HDB also somehow rather make money for the buyers. But what if I tell you that actually certain private properties out there potentially can make you more money while you are actively working, while you are younger? Wouldn't that be a better option for buyers out there? But for changing from a HDB to HDB has got nothing wrong. But if you do have the capability to buy a better investment while having a roof over your head, this is something that we want to always push it out to the customers for them to consider. They may not want to take our option to buy a condo, but if they do have the capability, we will encourage them while having a roof, make some money over it, and you have a better lifestyle, or even pass it out to your children or to your parents.
So basically, it's the potential gain that they can get into compared to HDB. Would you say that?
Yeah, that's really from investment point of view. I think we all want to make more money, to have a better life, or even to plan for retirement. So I think having a good investment in the private sector can always help you have a head start, especially if you're younger, okay, to have a better retirement in the future.
So, just going into this question, because every individual is different, people are also looking at exit strategy, per se. Yeah. So what is for typical Singaporean earning median salary? What is your advice, or what can they potentially look into?
I think the runway, our encouragement is always to start as young as you can, because time is an important essence when it comes to real estate investment. So every investment that you go into, you must give the element of time. Then you allow them to have capital appreciation over a long period. Okay, so I mean, if you can take my own case study, I didn't start off having a lot of money. I actually bought my first HDB, which is a BTO, right? So I didn't really straight away first property really buy private, no, right? So I progressively after MOP, I sell it, like regroup the capital. I go into my first condo, my first resale condo, right? Knowing that I got 3 kids, okay. Space is important.
That's a resale. That's not brand like new launch.
So I do have my new launch, but the one that I stay is actually a resale condo.
Okay.
Right. So I couldn't wait. I wanted to go into a place after I sell my BTO to another place so that my children can also go to the primary school.
So basically no waiting time.
No waiting time. So I progressed to condo. Then of course, back 2 years ago, I also bought my first landed. After I moved into my landed, I sold off my condo. So you see, just now you talk about the timeline, you talk about the runway. I think you have to be patient. You cannot like come into the property wanting to invest and immediately wants to buy the biggest landed that you think it is suitable for the family, right? Of course, at least not for my case, is through hard work, step by step, I accumulate my wealth, then I now can progress into what is comfortable for the family. So don't rush into all this, especially for real estate.
How long did that take you from the
My BTO took 3-4 years to build, 5 years to MOP, so about 8 to 9 years. I stayed in my condo for 6 years, so another total about 15 years. 15 years now I stayed in my stayed in my landed for 2 years already, so it's about 17 years, 16, 17 years.
17 years actually quite fast for this kind of progression.
Yeah, but that's provided you stay invested. I mean, throughout this tenure, I have always been investing, right, not only in property, in everything else to make the money work harder, right, so that you can regroup. Every time when there's a need, okay, now that my children are growing, I need a bigger space, then I can redeploy all this money into better investment that's suitable for the family.
So we're not just looking at capital gain or capital acquisition just from real estate. It's basically everything that is asset class that you're looking into, and property happens to be one of them.
I think not only investment, I mean money comes from everywhere, right? You can invest in other assets, no problem. Property, no problem. And I mean you must also continue to work. You cannot. I mean active income, salary, all these are also important when it comes to investing, and how you manage your money, how much you save, how much you invest. Is also something that everyone out there, especially the viewers, we must learn. We must continue to make our money work harder for us and stay invested. That's very important.
Next question. Let's say for retirees, right, they're currently staying in HDB. Would it make sense for them, in terms of investment, in terms of rationality, does it make sense for them to get another HDB with a newer lease so that there's potentially a growth? Or do you actually have data or things that you are already seeing that it doesn't make sense to people, and that's why not many people are actually making this move?
As in whether should they buy a newer HDB?
With a newer lease. So currently they may have one that is maybe 20, 30 years old.
First and foremost, I would like to say that HDB is not really for to invest. It's not something that is put out in the market for people to buy into and make a lot of money, right? HDB's intention is to provide a roof over Singaporean family. Okay, so of course, if the question comes from the decaying of lease, I think it is always important to acknowledge that any leasehold property out there in Singapore, okay, when you reach a certain age, the growth will be slower than the newer properties. Same for HDB and also private property. I mean, if you do have an option to choose a newer HDB and an older HDB, my encouragement is to have a peace of mind. Why don't you move to a newer one? You buy something that is just recently MOP, you potentially have a longer lease, you can potentially have a more chance of capital appreciation compared to if you are staying in a 30, 40 years older HDB like where we are now in Toa Payoh. You realize that the growth rate of certain HDBs like that has significantly slowed down. Yes, there is still growth, but significantly slowed down compared to the one that is beside also $1 million Toa Payoh HDB. Why is that so? Because decaying of lease has got is making different people buy into that kind of property. Like when you got decaying of lease, certain people like the younger buyers, they are not able to buy into older property because of restriction of loan and also restriction on CPF. Okay, so these two policies actually make them difficult to buy into the older properties as well. So this is something for buyers out there to think.
So with cost of living getting higher and higher, does it make sense for them to do a they call it downsize, or some call it right size.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think for retirees, they still need money for daily expenses and everyday life. So would it be a better option for them to, if they don't need like a bigger space anymore, would it make sense for them to go into a slightly smaller property, longer lease, and probably have some cash on hand?
I think when it comes to retirement, if I hear your question correctly, it's for those who are planning to go into retirement at their age, okay, probably like 50s, 60s, or even 70s. Should they right size to the smaller property, or should they stay put at the bigger property? Right, I think it's really subjective in terms of lifestyle, right? There's customers whereby I know they actually retire at their bigger HDB. What they do is that they actually rent out their rooms so that they have got consistent income. Why? Because if you think about it, when you are at that age going into retirement, capital appreciation is not the most important now, right? I don't need so much money. I eat lesser, I use lesser, I travel lesser. So I just need consistent income, which is coming from room rentals to support my lifestyle. And so for those who have got children, they probably have got children supporting them as well. That's one way of living their retirement. Of course, we also have got customers whereby they downsize from their private or from their bigger HDB into a smaller 3-room flat or 4-room flat, right? Then the money they make while building their portfolio, their bigger HDB or private property, the cash they will use for their retirement. Or some of them actually pass it to their children, grandchildren to even buy properties as a form of support, as a form of down payment, right? So there's many ways how you can do when it comes to retirement, but it really subjective to different family, different people, and how you choose to retire, what kind of lifestyle do you want. So you must have certain expectations, okay? You must plan ahead if possible. Yeah.
Still on the same topic, right? Some people actually do mention about renting out the entire unit here and move over to our neighborhood tree in Johor.
Yeah.
Is that something feasible? Is it something doable for Singaporeans here?
I think it's doable. I mean, there's nothing wrong to move to JB, to KL, to Penang, or to even Thailand, other countries. But it's about your expectation. If you can go there and stay slightly away from Singapore, because the thing about staying away is that you don't get to see your loved ones as often. And if you have got grandchildren, you have got children still in Singapore, if you want to come back, it will take like 1 to 2 hours for you to travel. But if that is okay, I don't see anything wrong. I do foresee that moving forward, okay, there will be more people who are more willing to shift, especially towards the JB side for retirement. Why? Because I think Singapore currency will continue to be strong. Every time you collect your rental in Singapore, you rent out your HDB, you convert a 3.3 to 3.5 conversion into ringgit. I think that makes money easier over the other side. Okay, affordability is really still low compared to Singapore. So if you can accept the lifestyle, a little bit of traveling, I don't see anything wrong. And moving forward with the MRT ready towards JB, I think more people will commute from country to country now. Those staying in overseas, especially JB, I think not a concern at all. Yeah.
这个我可能会先 report， 我不知道可以不可以播，或者是可以不可以讲。
The question
This kind of question. Okay. This question basically, because we know that for every uptrend, every growth, there should be some retracement and there should be some medium where this will come back down so that everything will equalize and stabilize to show that this is healthy before the market continues to go in. But here in Singapore, we're not seeing so much of this in real estate. It's going to continue to take over when people are exiting the market. When this, because I believe this very closely to any asset class, whether it's stocks, whether it's gold, when you look at the chart, there's always that replacement, but not in real estate. So who's going to continue to do this and make sure that it is still healthy and we can still progress?
Who is going to do this? Government is going to do this. They got to make sure that the prices today is sustainable long term. Anyway, I agree with you. Whatever that we are seeing now, there will be a time where there will be some retracement or even an economic crisis that potentially bring the prices down. But if you look at the past 18 years when I'm in the market, right, at least for the past 18 years, we do see different situation whereby, example 2009, we actually have an economic crisis, the bank collapsed, but very quickly within 1-2 years there's a V-shaped recovery, right? Then when it comes to 2013, there's actually a cooling measure called TDSR that actually dampened the whole market. Market actually went down slightly, if not went sideways, okay, for a fair 3 to 4 years. Then after which we also hit with the worst economic crisis. GDP went down in Singapore history. The worst is back in COVID time. Prices going down during COVID, right? But I must say that whatever goes up somehow or other will come down anytime. So what we need to do as investors is to really see long term. Are we going to sell when the prices retreat? Are we going to sell when prices comes down because of economic crisis? We are not. We are focusing on the long-term retirement plan or at least 5 to 10 years, 10 to 15 years. So market up down got nothing to do with us. Now what's affecting us as a property investor is that if you fear to come into the market now and you choose to come in 1 year later, 2 years later, you will be 1 year later, 2 years older, right? 1-2 years older, and that will affect your loan tenure. Your installment will become higher. And what if these 1-2 years the prices continue to go up? You wasted your 1-2 years. So this is something that we need to understand. Okay, sometimes it's not about the entry price because I'll give you one example. In 2013, when it implement this cooling measure TDS, our prices dampened, yes. But at 2013, if you buy the right property, you still profit after it in 3 to 4 years time. So it don't really affect you even though market goes sideways. If you choose the right property, prices still go up. So it's about choosing right property, going into the property at the right price, and also leveraging on your younger age and be able to take bank loan. That's more important.
So basically, it's not like you're going to sell every time you see the need.
Yeah, we are not.
There's no emotion involved here. Too much emotion involved in real estate. You're just looking at maybe at least 5-10 years time to see that growth before you exit.
You see, during COVID, we know there's COVID back in end 2019, early 2020. There's people who anticipate, wow, now there's this pandemic going on. Do we have sellers who go out there and sell the property thinking that prices will come down?
I'm sure there are.
There are. So you go and ask all these people now who exited in 2020, sell their biggest property, everything sell. They regret. 2020 to 2024, prices went up significantly even with this crisis that is hitting all of us. We stayed at home for 2 months. They regretted. So what if they never sell? Today they would have benefited more in terms of investment because they stay invested, right? So all these are unpredictable. Nobody out there can predict what's going to happen in the next 6 to 12 months. So let's try to focus on the fundamentals of staying invested, especially in property. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, those are the questions that I think most Singaporeans will have, especially going into investment, preparing for retirement, even for young age buyers who are looking at real estate as well.
Yeah.
So with that, I really thank Zach for sharing his insights. 18 years 18 years of experience in real estate. Also an investor. Also showed us how he did it from BTO, HDB to condo to landed. So with this, thank you. Anyway, we have finished up. So this is also the end of the video. Hopefully to see you in the next video. So take care.
Hey, see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.